Hello guys, welcome to this Unreal Engine tutorial about linear interpolations. I'm currently just here in the basic third-person template. As you can see, not much to it, nothing going on. So let's start off by creating our custom folder. I'm just going to call _lerp for this tutorial here today. I know I have a couple people that want to do lerping through, do some animations. I'm going to show you a couple different ways you can do it, and I'm going to even show you how to add a crouch to your character today. But first thing we're going to need to know is we're going to need to use some curves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the curve tab over here, miscellaneous. We got curve float, curve linear color, and curve vector. Well, it's really simple. It's just the amount we have. So curve float is kind of my basic. I like to call it _c underscore. We'll just call it float for now. So what you're going to want to do is, I'm going to come over to the 0 out. You can do the middle mouse button, or you can do enter tool, get them on all tracks as seen here. And you'll see what I mean later on. I'm going to quickly save it, because best practices. But here's what we got. So we got the curve options. I'm not too sure on these here. It works just fine. And what we got is we got two values here. This 0 is on the x-axis, and what it is actually is it's going to be the time. So let's say we want this to start at 0 seconds, and we're going to 1, or 2, or 5, right? And we'll start there. But I'm going to keep it 0 for now, because we're going to do the crouch first. And this one, let's say we want it to be, let's say the value is 1, or the value is 0. So when you're lerping, what you're going to need to do is actually, you're going to need to keep the value as close as between 0 and 1. Because that's what it works, and it goes in between 0 to 1. So we can do some change it up. This is just a linear interpolation. Works great. Constant will just always be changed, wrong button there. Editable. Hold on, let me just select them both. Got constant, so just go straight up and then straight out. I like linear. You can do a cycle, but those are just after the math. I would just keep it constant. Life is much better that way. What you can do is you can always curve it up and curve it out. I've done it before. It didn't feel great on my crouch. You can do cubic interpolation, even some automatic tangents. I think let's just keep it linear here. And when I was working on my one game, my favorite way to do it is actually add you here at an offset of 0.2 and 0.05. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing over here at 0.9 and 0.8. It'll just give you the best feeling crouch here. And I'm going to quickly rename this. This is going to be C underscore crouch curve. Cool. I'm going to come over to my third person character, and I should be using enhanced input, but I'm going to go ahead and just use keyboard event CTRL or left control. So we're going to say, and I'm just going to make this one a non-toggle here. It'll work better. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need this character movement component. You can drag out, hold control to get it like that. Or you can always do alt for most of them. But what we have is we have crouched half height at 40 centimeters here. And so we are going to need to get our crouched half height. Get crouched half height. Ooh, right there. And what we're going to need to know is what our what our crouch half height is it's going to be this capsule half height. So you see how the capsule radius is 35, so and this half height starts at 90. So when we set it down to 40, it's going to come down to here. And the capsule is going to come down, lower, and it's just going to work just fine. I think the skeletal mesh has to crouch down eventually. I know first person, you'll actually see the character move down. It could just be due to editor, but we'll see how that plays out here. But what we know is we know our normal half height is 90, so we are going to need to just get literal float. Get float. I think there's just a thing called literal. Wait, make literal float. That is it. We'll just call it 90 for now, and we're going to call this standing half height here. What we should do is we should just make this a variable called standing half height. What we can do is we can just say get half height at the beginning, or if we know our half height's always going to be 90, we'll just set it to 90 and call it a day. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to add a timeline here so then we can actually access it. And we're going to call this timeline crouch. We're going to go into it, we're going to do control space, open this content drawer, and we're just going to drag and drop the curve. It's gonna take a minute, just let it run. I think what we need to do is, add selected curve asset, that's it. There we go. Will it give us a float right there? Yep, there we go. That's gonna be our crouch alpha. You're gonna need to know, and so you see how our crouch is gonna take 1 second to get down there? The length needs to equal whatever your time value is. If it's not, then this timeline is gonna run past and you're still gonna be sitting at 1 no matter what. And what we're going to need to do on press is we're going to need to sequence it, because we're going to want to stop it, and then we're going to want to go play. And I'll show you why in a minute, and actually what I'll do is we'll just go straight to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take here, I'm going to get the standing half height, I'm just going to align them so then they're just a little easier to see. There we go. Shift this over with the arrow key. And what we're going to do is we are going to get this capsule component, and we're going to say set capsule half height. And on update, so every time this ticks, we want to change it. And now if I just did this, it's just going to go between 0 and 1, so that's not going to work. What we're going to actually want to do is come here and find this look function. So what this will do is this will take A, the first variable, our main half height, and B, our crouched half height, and it will go from 0% to 100% in between here. We'll figure it out using this timeline here. So if we are at 0.5 at the time, and let's say we're at 0.5 on the value, and there is a 0.52 seconds. What it will do at 0.52 seconds is you'll be at half of 90 minus 40. So be at whatever that is. Don't ask me to do math without a calculator, please. What I'm going to do is I'm going to save on compile and jump to error. Just my personal preference there. Okay, so we're going to want to set the standing half height. And on released, we're just going to reverse. I'll just take that sequence out so you can see it, and let's just see what happens. Honestly, you might not even need the sequence. Okay, so you can see the character go down. Actually, I don't even think you need the stop, but it'll help. You can see the character go down there. Obviously, it'll be better with the first person. What I like to do is I like to stop it first, and then play, and do the exact same thing. And for sequence, what you can do is you can just drag out and press S. Or you can just press and click. I think what that'll do is that'll make it just a bit smoother. It's really hard to tell. Here's what we'll do. We'll create a cylinder, and I'll just show you that moving instead. Have a half height on it? I'm not sure. Does not, unfortunately. But you get the gist. I think what I can do is what's this camera boom attached to? It's attached to the capsule component, really, not the mesh. What I think I can do is I can just attach the camera straight there. Get it nice and close here, so you can really see it go down. Yeah, there you go. As the capsule goes down, you can see the camera go down. I'm going to at least put it back out to here. And now that does mean that character, the camera, ooh, that's weird. But as the capsule goes down, the camera goes down, and there's a crouching function. I'm going to reattach that, reparent that. And now let's say we want our crouched half, so let's go to our here, let's go find our crouched half height. Let's say we want that to be, let's say 20. Let me teach you a little funny fact about capsules. You cannot have the crouched half height go below the capsule radius. Why? Well, fine, let us. Well, because then it will no longer be a capsule, and the capsule radius cannot be higher than the crouched half height. Because a capsule can be a sphere, or a sphere can be a capsule, because it's still round and it holds the round sides with some length in the middle. The capsule is not always a sphere, but it cannot be less than a sphere. It can't be more. The half height and the radius cannot be less than each other. The half height cannot be less than the radius. So, now we got a crouch. I wonder what the vector would do. And this is normally what I do for it all. We also got lerp vector. It's very, very useful. Let's say I want to move the player to the right when I press E. So keyboard event E. Let's just use a similar timeline here. What you can do is you can control D it. It will not save exactly, but it will do mostly. Let's say set actor location. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do lerp both a vector. We're using the exact same timeline, same alpha. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to do E. And now you could do add actor location, but it will not go backwards correctly. You have to do set, otherwise I'll show you actually. Let me show you. Add actor location. Add actor world offset. There we go. Let's say we want to what should it be? What's the start location? Let's take that location, plug it into there. Oh, that does not work. 900, 1110, and the 92. Just call it 95, right? And what we're gonna want to do is, let's say we want to just go up. Just set it to 2000. Why not? And we'll just do teleport. And I'll show you why you cannot do add actor. Well, first off, you go flying at 1000. When you let go, oh, it's at 0. We're interpolating between nothing. Now, if you do set actor location, we're going to teleport the physics with us. It does go up, yeah, but he will go back down. It's a little finicky. I don't know why the numbers send him flying backwards, but you get the point. It'll tend him flying in that direction back. Ooh. You can see him on this timeline trying to go up and down. Really fun to watch. I'm curious why he's going backwards. So what we can do is we can find third person character right here. Okay, let's watch his height. Oh, it's going to 0, 0 something, which is interesting. What is carrying it backwards? Curious actually now. What might carry it backwards? Wonder if it doesn't register normal B. Oh, I wonder if it's because it's slurp when it should be lerp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to want the exact same values, but I want it to be on a proper lerp vector and not a slurp. 900, 1110, 95, to 900, 1110, 2000. Now that we're actually working, let me do add world offset here. Show you, yeah, it's not going to work right. It's just going to send us flying again. Exact same thing. When I hold E, it sends us up, then it can't bring us down. I'm just going to control Z backwards to set actor location here. Oh, there we go. Now we go up, and gravity takes us back down. And what I'm going to want to do actually is, let me set that back to 95. Let me set that to 2,000, 1,200. And you know what? Yeah, let's just go to 200. Why not? Why not, right? So you can see him go. And I'll just teleport us back there. And now ideally, let's say we want him to move a specific direction. So what we're going to want is we're going to want what is our current location. And then, where are we moving to? So let's get current start location. We're going to make that a vector. We're going to set it. I'm going to just plug that in, and we're going to say get actor location self. That works fine. Back into place. That's fine. And we're going to want to plug this into there, and then let's say we'll add 300 every direction. Why not? Or let's go 1,000. And let's say when we're finished, print string, what direction did we come from actually? Because when you break this apart, you get forward or backwards. I'm curious, what direction do we come from? Are we going forwards or are we going backwards? Oh, I guess we're going forward. Now we're going backwards. Now if we come over here, it'll do the exact same thing. If I come over this way, it'll do the exact same thing. Oh wow, it does exactly what we want. It takes us plus the location minus the location. So that's going to be the basics of your curve timeline for you. I have not truly messed with the vectors or color timelines as much as I need to, or well, as much as I should. So let's go learn what those do together. Now, I believe the color timeline is very straightforward. I'm not too sure on the curve, or on the vector timeline. Sorry, it's called a timeline. It's really called a curve. My bad, sorry. Underscore curve vector. What it does is, it looks like we just have these three vectors here. And I bet you, if I plug that in, we could probably just use the exact same timeline, and then we just go up here. I hit, hit enter there. That's on all three of them at 0, 0. That's on all three of them at time 1, time 1. Here, so let's just go plug it into a new timeline. Vector. And select curve asset, please. Thank you. And actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna set U. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a different dot for each one. You're gonna be at 0.5 and 1. That is 0.75 and 1. You're gonna be at is 1 and 1. And I'm just curious how they work. Not sure. So let's go take a look. How is it outputted? So it's outputted into a vector. Not want to promote it to a variable. I just wanted to split it. I think this is actually best when you're going to want 3 different outcomes. So I think what we can do is just plug this in, and we'll see our directions going faster or slower. It's actually really, really cool. I did delete the variable that we had there, which is accidental. We're going to call it actor location. That's my bad, guys. Did not mean to delete it, but we'll just plug it right back in. And what we're going to do is we're going to delete out that timeline. We're going to plug it in. And now what I say is stop this is make sure the timeline's not trying to run forward. As you try to then play forward, honestly, you probably don't need it. It's just me thinking, oh, it might be useful in case. So plug in the update. We're going to plug in the direction. We're going to plug that into finished. Again. And let's say we want curve X to be our alpha. Okay. Mississippi. Okay. Okay. Oh, yeah, curve X is at 1 second, that's right. Okay, let's say we want curve Y to be our alpha now. That should be faster. Ooh, that is definitely faster. And now what you can tell, though, is gravity has finally stopped working like it should be. We're in here. And that is even faster. I bet you, if I set this to 0.25 and that to 0.5, you will definitely notice the differences. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a selection node. Select float based on an integer value, 0, 1, or 2. And this is just me playing around now with stuff here. Which it's going to be an integer, and every time we press it, it's just going to be get it plus plus if greater than 2 branch set 0. Basically, so if it's 3, set it to 0. Because you got to remember that Unreal works by using option 0 as an option. It does help if you do plug it in. Just saying. So, ooh, that is really weird right there. Why did it not go through? Ah, because false needs to go plugged in too. That would help. Slower, even slower. Fast, semi-fast, slow. Right? And actually, we can use that to go flying away. Yeah. I guess that's one way for curve vectors. Maybe you want to switch them up, have them be different. I wonder if there is a way that we can use them combined. I bet there is a way we can use them combined. Not to lerp. Well, actually, we can make that the alpha. Why not? That is why. Because that is the exact location is 0, 0, 0. And now there's no alpha, which is 0, 0, 0. So clearly that won't work. But that's one way we can use them, is using it through our selection nodes. Or we could use it to set a location, which I don't recommend. Just store a variable at that point. Okay. We're going to replug this in because that was kind of fun. That is something we're going to want to keep forever. Okay. And you could do reverse from n, but it'll go to straight for alpha 1, back to alpha 0. And if you just do reverse from where it's at, excuse me, if you do reverse from where it's at, then what will happen is if you're at 0.5, it'll reverse from 0.5 and go down to 0. Or if you're at 0.25, it'll go forward again, instead of starting back from 0. And actually, what I bet we could do is we could probably set this alpha. No, we cannot set the alpha to 2. Well, maybe. I'm curious. Ooh, we could set the alpha to 2. And what it will do is just double the distance. But I recommend just keeping it at 1. Make your life easy. No need to make it hard on yourself, right? Just keep it at 1. And then you're always going exactly, if you ever need to double it, just artificially double it here. Then just double it here, don't double it on the curve. And now remember, if you ever change the time, you have to change the time on your curve. You can see there, it's taken a while to come back because we forgot to set the time on the curve. Now I bet we could do that with your code, set new time, and it would be a selection node here, which actually we might just do. What did we say? X is at 1, Z's at, yeah, or Y is at 0.25 at 1. Yeah. Select You again. I'm just gonna make it look a little terrible. The X is 1. The Y is 0.25, and the Z is 0.5. And we'll just add a quick sequence node. Play is 3, set new times 2. There we go. There we go. Cool. I will... this is just getting a little messy here. We will definitely clean it up at a later time. But not right now, because let's go look at the curve for color. And now, I know I have a guy that wants to do a UI widget. So we're going to create a little user widget. And I think his is a button. We can use an image, either way. But what I will show you is how to add it to your viewport, which hopefully most people know. And I'll show you the animator, and I'll show you how to lerp it as well. I am just gonna... I'll show you the way to do it with the timelines and animations as we just did. I will also show you a way that you can do it with the UI animations. And I'm just gonna add a button here, just offset it just a bit, just because I believe that's how he's doing it. I'm just gonna make this your main widget as well, because honestly, then we don't have to do anything extra. So, on controller, we're just gonna attach it to here. It shouldn't matter either way, but we wanna create the widget, which is gonna be called RUWB underscore testing. Owning player, it doesn't matter exactly what you do, but what we could do is reference self, which actually isn't a thing, so never mind. It'll just mark it as yourself. So we're gonna add to the viewport. You could add it to the player screen. Yeah. We're gonna do add viewport here. See, order 0 will be perfectly fine. So basically, the higher it is, the more on top a widget will be. This is great if you need to stack multiple widgets at once, but for our current context, we can just leave it at 0. And that's because, like, maybe you don't want to delete your main menus, you're going to your options menu, or something like that. Then you can stack the options menu on top of it. So what we're going to need to set these is variable. Cool. Okay, so if there is variable, now we can find them. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to get it, and what we can do is we can set background color and opacity, so the background or the foreground color. And what we'll do is actually, let me get some text, and it'll make a little more sense here. And I'm just gonna make it just a little bit bigger so you can see quote text block. And so, the difference is color and opacity. That's gonna be the main foreground color of the text. And then I did mess it up. Okay, so color and opacity, that's the text color. As you can see right there. Let's just set it red. Oh, cool. Goes back. Okay, and then this is going to be our background color. Currently it's gray. Set it to, like, let's say a black for now. Looks cool. And for the images, it's just going to be background color. Ooh, I'm feeling green. Let's go green. Right. So, let's say every event. Let's just make it a never-ending loop. I'm going to create a function. So I'm going to do custom event ler button color. And what we can do is we can do add. Ooh. There is no timeline in the widgets, which means we can never do it this way with the widgets. Really unfortunate, but you know what? That is why. Just save it really quick. that's why we have this little animations tab right here. Not down here, only in the widgets. So let's say this is what our default color is. So let's go here. We're going to create an animation. We're going to be called change color. Let's go add. Let's say I want to change the button color. And I want to and do the image. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to add a chat, or add a track here for the background color, the color and opacity, the color and opacity of this one. So currently, they're set to green. Let's say at 1 second, this color should be, now that should become the red. And we are going to dock this in layout so we can always see it. Trust me, you'll like it this way. So we're going to want to change U to a red. Let's just set the hue to 0. We're going to have a keyframe. Click here. So now it will linearly interpolate between the green and the red over the 1 second. And let's say for the color and opacity of the button, it should become a green. Oh, let's make it like a cyan. It'll look really cool. Color and opacity set. And background color, that should become, let's do yellow. Why not? See yellow a lot. And now, I'm not a big fan of this yellow. Let's go goldify it just a little bit. Oh, actually, I know what the problem is. It's under the style option. What we're going to want to do, set it to a pure white on all of them. And what we can do is we can always simulate the different color presses. I'll show you how we'll do that later, but let's set this to like more of a goldish tintish, like. Is it gonna look good? Probably not. I'm gonna save this. So, it will switch color. Okay, cool. So when we hit play, it'll switch the color. It'll linearly interpolate between the color. And actually, since we never changed the goldish hueish color, we do need to add a new. We need to switch that keyframe. Now I'm gonna delete out that keyframe. Come over to here. I'm gonna set background pasty color to 1 green, blue. Sorry, 1 green, 1 yellow. Let's set it to like yellow, 1 yellow. Dial it back a bit, and there we go. Now it'll interpolate better. So when we hit play, that's what'll happen. Okay, so let's save it. Control Shift S. Let's just compile it. You can press F7. You can click compile in the top right. It does not matter. And we're at the event construct. We're gonna do play animation. Ooh, it's interesting. What animation do we need? What is it called? Let's first figure out where is it. Uh, where is it? Oh, ha, there it is. Oh, I can't believe I missed that. Okay, so we're gonna play animation change color, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna get change color finished. We are just gonna do this again and again, so that's just a never-ending loop. But we're gonna want to do a flip-flop here, so then we can go forwards and backwards. And what we're going to do is we're going to just do a select float. Pick A. So if it's A, we'll start at time 1, and then we'll go back through time 0 again. And if we did it in reverse order, then it would just look a little weird after the first time. Because remember, this is after the first time it finishes, then it goes backwards. And actually, what we can do is we can switch that, and we can do ping pong. Beginning and a beginning. And what we're going to do is we're going to set it to 0, so then we don't even need to create our own custom loops, because why would we? Okay. I'm just curious, let's just see what happens now. Ooh. That is really cool. Keeps changing, keeps coming back, keeps changing, keeps coming back. And now let's say we set it to loops, let's say 10. So we should expect to see it to play 10 times, and let's just do playback speed twice to save some time here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. That'll be 10 loops now. I guess my timing and counting skills are just not that great anymore these days. Oh, I think it's because it goes forward, backward, 10 times. But anyways, there we go. 10 times, color changing using linear interpolation. Now let's go to the character and use the linear interpolation for color really quick on the curves. If I can type curve, let's do curve, linear color, C underscore curve, color, crouch curve, color curve. It doesn't matter really. Here, let me clean this up, because this is not how I want to be programming anymore these days. So I want to be on the cleanup side of things before it gets this messy. So drag that over, straighten that up. Actually, no, that was fine as it was. Straighten that up to there. Okay. We're going straight to the plus plus. Less than. And straight to the index. Okay. Set the new time. I'm just going to mark this as stop. Set new time. Play. So let me just have a quick comment. Just so you know the sequence it does. Just so you know exactly which does what does it when. If you mark under there. Just bring the float over. We do not need this print string here at all. Or at least not now. There we go, sorry. It's gonna be switch. We're gonna say alpha value depending on selected track. Time depending on selected track. Actually, we are going to call that new time depending on selected track. It's just going to be if which we're down out of tracks. Then what we're going to want to do is switch back to loop. I think that's fine. boom. We're gonna rename this to current nation. Go. Okay. That's looking pretty good. There are. And we can add spaces, but yeah, there we go. And then this will just be player via blurb. Okay, that's pretty well commented. Which value? There we go. Whew. I do not know how people do comments these days. uh, I'm not much for commenting when these days, but you know, I'll show you guys the right way to do it and how to create these and how to make them look good the right way. And what we're going to do is we're going to on event pressed move player plus, what was it, 1,000 units on lanes backwards. Go. And we're going to comment this on the CTRL pressed lower capsule height to crouched half height on release move back to standing capsule height. There we go. And what we're going to do actually is we still do it this way. We're going to set this to get here, get wrong one. We are going to want to get the capsule itself and get capsule half height. And that will become our standing half heights now. So if you change it in the viewport, let's say 200, it will always start at 200 instead of just being that 90. And it'll just work just that little bit better. We're going to leave it at 90 for now, though. Okay. Widget, it's really cool, but it's blocking my view. I'm just going to make these smaller in the corner and move these out of the way here. Life will be just a little bit easier. We're going to do size to content and anchor that right side, anchor that left side. Is that out of the way now? Okay, there we go. Now we can see. Thank you. I am going to just change this text to text. That is size to content, right? There we go. Oh, that's so much better. Anyways, I'm going to change that back to playback by once. Let's change it to 0.5 actually. Just make it nice and slow. Okay. So, the way I'm going to change the colors, I'm just going to give the character a point light here. Because that's the easiest thing to change color on. You call it character light. I don't know. Why not? Let's go right above its head. We'll be able to see it here. Is that the way we're going to want to do it? Yeah, let's do that. I like using lumens. It just makes my life easy. Let's do 500 lumens. I like white for now. Let's do just, we'll keep it at a 5,000. FD source radius. FD soft. That does make the light work better. Oh, that reflects really cool. I'm definitely gonna have to check that out for my game. But we will see how it goes. I'm just curious what happens if I make it red and I use temperature. Okay, that is really cool. I didn't know about that. Whew. Okay, we're gonna just leave it wait for a minute. Wow. Just wow. Okay. Let's create our... Okay, now we got our curve color in here. And now these are on every track except the alpha, and that's on every track with the alpha. So I'm going to do... Let's do that. Delete this out. Okay. I'm gonna do enter. Don't know where it went exactly. Oh, ooh. Interesting. Well, let me add a key. Huh. Let's try recreating that. That's weird. Curve color C underscore color curve. Okay. Oh, because it's kind of overlapped here. Oh, that. Yeah, okay. So at 0, we're going to want to set alpha to 1. Um, how do we want this to work? We're going to create another one at 2, 2. 2. Let's go between red, yellow, green. So we'll start 0 at the red. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to just need to add some vibrance, of course. And that. So I think that'll do. So that'll give us a red now. Back, and then what we're going to do is we're going to make this to a green. So I think we want is 120. But so I'm not a color aficionado. We do 0 and 0 hue 120. Saturation 1. Okay, but really we want to go between the yellow, so we're going to want to set it to a 60 hue. That's going to be a hue of 60, and that's going to be a hue of the 120. Okay. Yeah, I'm scared. 60. And I feel like it's not setting it all the way. Um, wonder if what happens if I take off that blue. Ooh. If I take off that blue path here. Oh, because it starts at 0. I want to do set the value to a 1 at 0. I want to set you to a 60. Interesting. You know what? I am just. What if I lay out this dot? Green. Add a red. I need to add a red. 0, 0. Let's take this apart. That's my alpha. There's my red. You, my good sir, are going to be joining us here. Blue can go off the map. Alpha can go off the map. So we're going to go to red. Green. Alpha off. Take up the green. Red's going to meet up there. And then the red's going to die. Okay. I think that just be what we might want. I am not sure how this is going to work. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out, right? What we're going to want to do is we are going to need a control. Let's do F. Event keyboard F. And we're going to do add timeline. Timeline color. I'm going to copy these sequence nodes. Stop, play, and stop. And what I'm going to do is I am going to copy these, add it to here. I'm going to do the exact same thing here, is get the proper comments going. Okay, we're going to start early this time, and what we're going to do is we're going to come into here, double click it, add, take you, add, select a curve asset, maybe, thank you. I do not know why it's going to blue first. Oh, because I want to start it at a red one, going to a guess not. Go to a red at 1, 0, 1, to be a 1, 1. Ah, because it has the blue in it. That can go. That can go. That can stay. And then here, all I want is alpha to be at 1 for the entire time. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you to a 0 and add a pit stop on the line. What you are going to actually do is you're not going to become a 2, but actually you are going to go time of 2, or sorry, to the value of 1, time of 2. This is going to start at a time, or at a value 0 to 1. Sorry, 0 to 0. So then at 1, 1 goes there, at 0, 1, add another 1. So then at 1, 1, it will go there, and then add another 1. So at 2, 0. So then it will just die out, and it'll come in, it will die out. Alpha line, doesn't matter. I think that's exactly what we're going to want. Does that look right? Ooh, perfect. And since this is a 2-second length, we're going to set it to a 2-second length, right? So that's when we die out, it's at 2 seconds. Cool. Okay. So now, let's take this point light, which we called character light, set light color. Just gonna go update, and that's just gonna be the new color. We're gonna plug it in, and we're done. Are you ready? We're gonna say F, it's gonna go yellow, it's gonna go green. It'll slowly teleport back to a blazing red. Wow, that looks really cool right there, actually. Actually, this felt camera. I could come up to about a minus 300 probably, and still look really good. Maybe a minus 200. Get close. Get it in your face. 250. I like to. Oh, ha. It's at 200. Let's just set it to a 0 and call it a day, right? Does that look great? Actually, that looks just right. Ooh. Oh, yeah. And then we can teleport. Well, we've changed our colors. That is really good right there. Alrighty. So, I have showed you all how to use different curves. We got vector curves, which I would mostly recommend when you just need 3 different tracks for things. Got float curves for when you need a single alpha curve, a single track for a single value. You got color curves when you need to change the different colors and lerp in between them. And I taught you how to apply these timeline curve. How do you add this timeline? Oh, first, on F pressed. Color towards on color towards red. Okay. I showed you how to create this timeline, how to plug in your different curves. You can select it. You can click track. You can click add selected curve. You can click add selected curve. You can click add selected curve. You could attempt to drag it in and then click add selected curve. Okay, it's not going to work, but you could do add float track and plug it in that way. Thank you, Unreal, for being very helpful with that. But you can add your curves that way. I showed you how you need to change the lengths and the times, how to add different values to different aspects of it all. I showed you how to add basic keyboard functionality. We can always add some modifiers to it as well, which is really cool. I showed you how to change the color of a light. I showed you how to change an actor position with the location. I showed you how to create a fluid crouch within your game. I showed you how to create some basic UI and add it to your game as well. And I showed you how to create an animation to change different properties, in this case color, on different parts of your widgets. And you can always do transform and teleport it. I have used that so many times. I actually used that in another project as well. Sorry. Just tired here. And with that, you guys are free to go. Use what you learned in your own games. Please give us a like, a subscribe, add any comments. I'm happy to answer any questions anyone has. If you have any other ideas for tutorials, please let me know. Thank you, and have a great rest of your day.